it took me nearly the entire duration of Season 4 to finally get the Redrix Broadsword Pulse Rifle. And of course I'm talking about the pinnacle reward from the Quick Play playlist that you can get directly from Shaxx. Now this is a crazy grind for this weapon. There's a lot of steps to do, there's a lot of games you have to play, so to get this weapon takes a lot of perseverance, a lot of patience, and really is the grind worth it? I want to delve into that question in this video. Now this weapon right here is the one you get directly from Shaxx as soon as you are done that quest. So it does come fully masterwork, which is nice. This has the stability masterwork, and I threw a counterbalance stock on it just to see how much that would improve it. The other thing too with this is it does have a set perk combination when you get that quest done. You can get random rolls on this too, but for the most part they're going to be pretty similar to this one because you're always going to have Outlaw and Desperado on this weapon. Desperado is the signature perk of the broadsword, and whenever Outlaw is active, then your rate of fire increases pretty dramatically. Now that may not seem like much, but when you consider that this weapon in its base form only shoots 340 rounds per minute, then Desperado is going to transform this weapon completely. This broadsword is very much a Jekyll and Hyde weapon. When you do not have the Desperado perk activated, this is a very mundane, a very average weapon because it only shoots 340 rounds per minute. Once you do get Outlaw, and once you do get Desperado activated, then it's almost like a Super Saiyan transformation where this weapon is insanely good. The problem is though, you can't really rely on having Desperado activated because you're not going to reliably get Outlaw activated, especially in Crucible. The fact that this is only 340 rounds per minute means you're going to be losing a lot of one-on-one gunfights even if your aim is good, and that's where this weapon is in a no man's land situation because they really can't increase the rounds per minute on this. You know, for instance, they can't really increase this from 340 to 390 like other pulse rifles like the Marine, or I believe Chattering Bow's a little bit higher than that, but the Marine's 390, an Argyle Address is 390. They can't really increase the broadsword up to that because then you're going to be activating Desperado way more often. And it may not seem like much, but 340 to 390, that extra couple bullets there is going to be making you win a lot more gunfights. And if Desperado is activated, then this weapon has a very, very low time to kill. So as it stands, this weapon is almost a victim of its own signature perk, where they had to lower the rounds per minute in such a way that the Desperado perk is glaringly obvious, but it also puts this weapon in a very tough spot where it's not really useful. And that's a sad fact because to get this weapon requires a very, very long time commitment. So real quick, we'll just test this thing out for a test drive. I'm doing this in PvE just to kind of show, you know, more easily the effects of the perk. So right now this is the perk not activated, and you can see it fires very, very slowly. Now I do have that counterbalance mod on here, but you'll notice that the recoil is very, very it's very, very easy to control this weapon. So from that standpoint, it does have everything else you need to have for a good pulse rifle. It has a predictable recoil. There's not much in the way of recoil at all anyway. But once you get Desperado activated, then this thing fires. It's almost like, it seems like it doubles the fire rate. Now I don't know exactly how fast it is, but it seems like it's close to like a Bygones type, Claws of the Wolf type situation where it's around 540, and you're not reducing your impact at all. So when Desperado is activated, this weapon is one of the best weapons in the game for PvP. Problem is, you're not going to win most of your gunfights, in my opinion. And I've seen that. I've seen other people make that same determination, and these are people who are better in Crucible than I am. So, you know, I just think that it's a shame that given how long it took to get this weapon, that it really is a victim of its own perk. And I don't know how they could improve it in a way that would keep it in its original form, but make it more viable without making it too overpowered. It's basically a situation where it's either going to be an underpower weapon or an overpower weapon, and there's no middle ground. So, long story short, is it worth it to get this weapon? Honestly, I don't think so. And, you know, I know for myself there, I was kind of in too deep. I was so close to it, and I just kept pushing to get it. But in hindsight here, I think there is much, much better options to use in PvP. And I've talked about a few of them before, but let's just look at some of them right now really quick. So any of the 390 pulse rifles I think are better than this one. and the Marine, I'd use that over this any day of the week. An Augur Dress, I think, is much better than the Broadsword. Chattering Bone, I think, is better. If you have one of these, doesn't even have to be a God roll. I think that's a better option than Broadsword. Claws of the Wolf, much better than Broadsword. Obviously, Bygones, I mean, that's one of the most popular weapons to use in PvP right now. That's better. I just feel like this weapon here, it's on a step below all these other weapons, and that's a shame because it really should be on the same level as Luna's Howl, where it's a weapon that people are striving to get because it is good. And it's just, in my opinion, it's not worth it to do that grind. So let me know what you think. I'm curious what people think. I know this might be an unpopular opinion on this weapon, but I was let down by it. I hope that they can improve it somehow, but I'm just not quite sure how they would do that without fundamentally changing the weapon. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Most importantly, though, let me know if you've gotten this and if you're going to try to get it in the future. Thanks for watching.